20 years, mate. 20 gruelling years. That shows character, Raymond. Character and commitment.
And you really believe that being married affects one's chances of promotion?
Of course it does. Mind you, marriage is much more than that. It's comfort. It's security. I cannot tell you the peace of mind which me and my Tina enjoy knowing that things are as bad as they're ever going to get.
I still say that modelling isn't as easy as you think, Maggie. There's a price to pay. Bulimia is a real tragedy.
Exactly. That's the point. Women torturing their own bodies to conform to a male fantasy. Young girls throwing up their dinner.
Personally, I've never been able to see what the problem with all that bulimic stuff is. To me, throwing up your dinner's the sign of a good night out. It's no big deal, it just makes your beer taste a bit sour, that's all.
You're just a total caveman, Gary.
Yeah, well, I like to work out a bit, don't I?
Look at it. Beautiful. This is what being a policeman is all about.
Hey, next we'll get one of them double hot plates with 2 coffee pots on it.
2 coffee pots. A cop with 2 pots. Yo, brother!
Freeze, mother.
Drop it! Auntie! Just once before we die, I'd like us to take our jackets off together and be wearing shoulder holsters. One step at a time, we've got our water cooler. The Virgin Cup. Boy, I can't get any water out of this thing.
I know, it don't work. I called the bloke.
Now then, Habib, I want your advice about an extremely sensitive area. Quite frankly, it's been bothering me for some time, and I just don't want to sit on it any longer.
Oh, I see, sir. Well, my dad uses this greasy cream called Rectinol. But sometimes he still has to have a special cushion.
I beg your pardon?
Hemorrhoids, sir. Bothering his sensitive area.
I'm not talking about hemorrhoids, you silly young constable.
Sorry, sir.
Rectinol, you say? Now then, as I was saying, this sensitive matter. If a man were considering proposing marriage to a woman, and I am, of course, talking about a hypothetical man, and an equally hypothetical woman.
Not going to be much of a sex life, is it?
It isn't anyway. But, I mean, hypothetically speaking. However, howsoever that may be, how do you think this hypothetical woman would wish to be approached?
Well, personally, I think marriage is an outmoded institution. But all women like a bit of romance. You know, candles, flowers, nice meal. Then when you're all lovey-dovey, you go down on one knee and suggest an AIDS test.
AIDS test?
Of course, sir. That's how it's done these days. Well, think about it, hypothetically speaking. If I accept your proposal, I could catch HIV, herpes, gonorrhea.
Patricia, we were just discussing catching that notorious Argentinian Jew thief, Hugo Ignatieff Vincente Herpes Gonorrhea. You might have read about him in the police review. Was it the May issue?
Raymond, what were you proposing to Constable Habib?
Nothing, Sergeant. We were just discussing Inspector Grimm's 20th wedding anniversary. Saying how much marriage proposals have changed. These days, the bloke has to bring along a medical certificate. I think women prefer candles, flowers and wine.
20 years. 20 years poor old Tina Grimm has had to put up with her appalling husband. Can you imagine what it must be like year after year with the same dull, irritating old bore?
Yes.
Not that marriage isn't a fine and honourable estate. I mustn't let Grimm's example sour me to the entire institution, nor indeed the failure of my own marriage. I was young, I was wild.
She was pregnant.
Yes, I have to confess that my knowledge of the rhythm method of contraception was rather incomplete.
Well, you've certainly mastered it now. Just add up all the days of the month and then don't do it on any of them.
Constable, would you mind accompanying me to the CID area? I'd offer you some refreshment, but sadly I have a dysfunctional spell. I'd like to ask your advice on a matter pertaining to women. What with you being one and all.
Right, you are, sir.
It's just my Tina is expecting something special and exciting from me, and I've got a problem. It comes once a year.
Oh, dear. Well, I can see that would be a problem. But don't worry, sir. Impotence is very common in men of your age. I read in Cosmopolitan that there's this cream you can buy called Keep It Up. And you...
I'm not talking about impotence, Constable.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Keep it up. Now, the problem is, as I think you know, tomorrow is me and my Tina's 20th wedding anniversary, so I suppose I've got to get her something.
Well, it would be nice, sir.
It's extraordinary how much meaningless, empty gestures mean to a woman, isn't it?
Well, some girls like them.
The question is, what shall I get?
Well, haven't you any ideas at all?
Oh, no, quite the opposite. Too many ideas. I'm torn. I'm torn between a box, a milk tray, and a box of dairy box. She likes the lime barrel out of one and the caramel cup out of the other. What do you think?
Perhaps you should get her both.
Both? You see, bloody women, totally unreasonable, the lot of you.